already been told. If you don't have any information, then there is none. We're going to deal with everything at 1:30.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I look forward to hearing from all of you at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor. George Bird.
Be safe.
Last matter.
Calling number 2 on the court calendar, case number 23, DHSC 00791, Celia Williams versus Celia Williams, Edward Ferrer, Eileen Archibald, Lydia Ponce, Naomi Nightingale, John Wood, Ingrid Mueller versus Mike Brown.
I'll have everyone formally announce their presence once you all have a seat, get seated. I know we have to logistically set up chairs for everybody, so once you're all comfortable, then we'll get formally on the record.
You want to have some evidence for the court?
Have a seat until we get formally on the record. All ready to go?
We are not, Your Honor.
All right, we're on the record then on number 2, Cecilia Williams et al. Versus Mike Bravo, 23 DHSC 00791. Attorney Charles Green is present on behalf of the defendants. And let me take roll and make sure I see who's all here for the plaintiffs. Celia Williams. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Edward Ferrer. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Edward Ferrer.
Ferrer. Thank you, Mr. Ferrer. Eileen Archibald. Thank you. You don't need to stand up, man.
It's Eileen B. Archibald. It's not just Eileen Archibald. My legal name is Eileen Bryant Archibald, but everything is under Eileen B. Archibald.
Is there another Eileen Archibald in the room?
No, it's me.
It's you.
Yes.
Thank you. Eileen B. Archibald.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have the...
Thank you for correcting me. And Lydia Ponce, or is it Ponce?
Ponce.
Do you go by the E? Do I need to say E also?
It says Ponce is a man who solicits women.
I couldn't hear you.
Ponce is a man who solicits women. That's Ponce.
Ponce is, I couldn't hear you, ma'am.
Ponce is a man who solicits women. My last name is Ponce.
I didn't know that, ma'am. Okay, Ms. Ponce is present. Thank you for that. Naomi Nightingale?
Not present.
Is she a plaintiff?
Yes.
So we're dismissing her as a plaintiff?
No. She had hip surgery and had post-op today.
She's not here. I'm dismissing the case against because she doesn't have a lawyer representing her.
Oh.
Her claim is dismissed. John Wolf. Mr. Wolf's claim is dismissed. Ingrid Mueller. Ms. Mueller is present. Thank you. Very good. So the claim of Naomi Nightingale, who's absent, is dismissed, and the claim of John Wolf is dismissed. Ms. Williams, you wanted to tell me something. I'll need you to speak into the microphone so we can make a record by pulling the base close to you and having the microphone about 1 inch from your mouth.
We would like to ask for a continuance so we could get a legal attorney, because we're all...
That request is denied. We're here for trial. You knew this was coming up for trial. This was filed in August. You've known about this for some time. Your request is respectfully denied.
But we only got word of having...
It doesn't matter. Your request is denied. You're here representing yourselves.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
We're here on plaintiff's claim. There are some aspects of this claim that I have questions of. I don't know whether they can be answered up front or by the end. I guess I'll wait. I won't ask the question. I'll wait to hear what the evidence is. The claim is as follows. Plaintiffs have filed the following claim is here for trial de novo. That means a new trial. I'll make the decision today based on the evidence. I have these 2 packets of information, and you'll let me know when those should be opened and referenced. Plaintiff's claim states the following. Plaintiff claims that defendant owes them the sum of $9,631 because Mr. Bravo misappropriated funds via GoFundMe, an account for legal funds for the First Baptist Church of Venice. GoFundMe was notified, Mr. Bravo agreed to set up payment plan to repay community for GoFundMe legal account. Evidence attached. And who wants to speak? Let me ask this question of all five of our plaintiffs. Are you all five members of this church? Is that why you're interviewing? Or will I hear that each of you paid money on the GoFundMe and it's your money you're seeking to recoup? Ms. Williams?
What it is, Your Honor, is that we had a GoFundMe set up for legal fees. We needed a lawyer to help us with certain aspects of making the church historical. We were community members from Venice, and we were...
Do you belong to the church?
No.
So you're interested community members that started a GoFundMe page?
Yes, because
And
we were...
what did you do with the money? Have you all been sworn?
Yes.
Yes.
Has anyone not been sworn? Ms.
She's a witness.
She's a witness.
All right, why don't we swear, anyone who hasn't been sworn, please stand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly state that the testimony you give and the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please state and spell your full name for the record, please?
Pamela Anderson, PAMELAANDERSON.
And Ms. Anderson is a witness, is that correct? All right, Ms. Williams, you were telling me that there was a GoFundMe page that was started by the five of you, or by seven of you?
No, by a whole group.
What does that mean? A GoFundMe page was started by a whole group?
The GoFundMe was set up because we needed a lawyer to represent us in getting the church that we were fighting for historical designation. And the church was closed. But we had sat in front of the church for over 4.5 years. And at the end, we needed an attorney to help us, guide us through making the project, the church historical. And so that is why the GoFundMe page was set up for legal fees.
And what did you do with the money that was designated, was paid to the GoFundMe page?
That you'd have to talk to Mr. Bravo about. We never had any of the money.
When you set it up, where was the money that he paid?
To our account, which we had at a bank, which we have.
And who was the signatory on the account at the bank?
Myself and 4 others.
Was the defendant, Mike Bravo, a signatory on the account?
No.
You could put that down, ma'am, for now. I'm just trying to figure out who's on first. There's a GoFundMe. Is it a GoFundMe page? Is that what we call it? A
Yes.
GoFundMe page by which third parties could contribute to this cause.
Correct.
And they would pledge money, and electronically that money would be paid, I guess, for the credit card by GoFundMe, and it would be paid to the account you designated.
Yes.
Once the money's in the account, 5 of you or so are signatories on the account?
Correct.
And so the money is owned by the 5 of you?
It was supposed to be owned by the entire group.
Who opened the account? 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
So those 5 people are holding in trust this money for the benefit of the bank.
Correct.
And at some point, I'm going to learn during the trial that Mr. Bravo accesses that money.
Well, you're going to learn that he changed it to his account.
How can he do that at a bank?
He set it up. He set up the
I thought you
GoFundMe.
just told me the 5 of you opened the account and were signatories on the account.
That was the bank account.
Well, that's where the money went, isn't it?
No.
When GoFundMe collected the money from third parties, what did GoFundMe do with the money?
It put it in Mr. Bravo's account.
Why did it put it in his account rather than the account you had opened?
That's what we got.
Then why are you suing him? Why aren't you suing GoFundMe?
Because he changed the account. He set it up and changed it.
All right. I think I have a framework now to understand the case. We've got 1 hour. Go ahead, Ms. Williams. Do you want to start?
I would ask the witness be excluded.
They're party. Oh, the witness be excluded.
Yes.
All right. Do you know who you want to call first as a witness?
Call Pamela Anderson.
All right. Ms. Anderson, please take the stand. Mr. Green, I think you wanted to say something earlier.
Yes.
What do you want to say?
I have some evidence I'd like to give to the court.
Do they have a copy?
Yes.
Go ahead and hand that to my staff.
And also, I'd like to say that there's, I'm sure the court will get to the bottom of it, but just to help the court along a little, there's a miscommunication.
What is this you handed me?
That's
It says Defendant Miguel Bravo's rebuttal.
and exhibits. The rebuttal references the exhibits.
So this is your argument?
It's just explains the exhibits. You don't need the rebuttal page.
Oh, then I'll hand it back to you.
Okay.
So these are exhibits.
Yes.
All right.
But as I was saying, the GoFundMe account
Are you testifying now?
is Mr. Bravo's account. Okay. And
Am I going to hear this during the course of the trial?
yes, but just so the court has the right perspective, because I believe they may have unintentionally misled you. Okay. It was it's his GoFundMe account, and he used the money as he saw appropriate for his actions as plaintiff in a lawsuit. And I would ask the court to take judicial notice of that lawsuit.
When we get to your part of the case,
Right.
I'll take that lead.
Right. So just for perspective, when you hear testimony, they did not have a GoFundMe.
Anything else you want to tell me before I start hearing testimony?
No.
Thank you. Your name, ma'am? Your name for the record, Ms. Anderson?
Pamela Anderson.
Thank you. I'd ask you to sit closer to the microphone, about 1 inch away. You may examine the witness.
Pam, can you please briefly,
It's Ms. Anderson,
yes, Ms. Anderson, can you please?
or Ms. Anderson, I don't know, but you can't call people by their first name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Anderson, can you please tell us how Mr. Bravo came to our group, but first describe...
No, that's 2 questions. Ask one question at a time. What's your question?
Okay.
Not but first answer this question. Let's ask a question.
Objection leading.
Overruled. She hasn't asked a question yet. What's your question, ma'am?
How did Mike Bravo come to the Save Venice group that met on every Sunday prior to his introduction?
Objection leading, lack of foundation.
Overruled. Both. Okay. May I answer?
I'm a community advocate. I advocate in the community. And when how I got involved with First Baptist Churches, I noticed Mrs. Sue Williams out front of the church. I asked her what was going on. She told me about the church. But previously, we had done community stuff together. And I brought different people into the group.
That wasn't the question,
Mr. Bravo.
ma'am. That wasn't the question.
Okay.
The question is about Mr. Bravo.
Mr. Bravo and I did some...
Talking over the judge is always a mistake. When the judge starts talking, we need to let him talk.
Okay.
The question was about Mr. Bravo, not about Ms. Williams.
Okay.
So, do you remember the question?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Bravo and I, we did some community things together, and we were doing a protest we used to do, advocate, and him and I and another friend, Maria, were advocating for the Pico Youth Center right here on Lincoln and Pico, and I helped participate in that. And
I think you've answered the question.
And that's how we became friends. And then I noticed that he had some things, and I asked him, I brought him into the group because I was asking different people to come and get volunteer to help us with the church. And I brought him in and introduced him to everybody in the group. Mostly everybody, a lot of people I introduced him to the group, and that's how I met him, because he volunteered to help us with, I asked him because he was good with doing artwork and signs and posters and things like that.
Next question.
Can you please describe the Chase Bank, then at the time Washington Mutual account that we opened?
Yes, it was around 2021. Myself, Pam Anderson, Lydia Ponce, Cecilia Williams, and Yvonne Guzman, we opened up a bank account for St. Venice GoFundMe.
Opened up a bank account what?
A bank account.
At what bank, Chase?
At the time it was called Washington Mutual, but now it's Chase.
Thank you.
I'd like to submit Exhibit A on behalf of the original plaintiffs.
Do I have that here in one of these envelopes?
No, this we barely got this last week.
Do you have a copy of that?
I have a copy.
Go ahead, hand that to my bailiff. Do you have any other documents you want to hand to the bailiff?
I
Hand them all to the bailiff now.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead. Next question.
No further questions.
Next witness. Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
So I'm not going to cross her now. We're going to.
No, if you need to call her as a witness, you'll call her as a witness.
Thank you.
Celia Williams.
We have 1 hour. We finish at 4:30.
Celia Williams, please.
Please, Ms. Williams, take the stand.
Your Honor,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the first envelope, you have a copy of the GoFundMe.
Which envelope?
including I think it should be that one on your left. Should be. I'd like to look at Exhibit B, which is the GoFundMe with several pages behind it. It includes a description of the GoFundMe and specifically what the GoFundMe funds were raised. And specifically,
Just ask your next question now.
okay, Celia Williams, can you tell us what happened with this GoFundMe? How did it start?
We were at the church on Sunday, in October, and we all thought it was a good idea, all of us involved, that we set up a GoFundMe because we knew we were going to need a lawyer for the historical status of the church we were trying to save. And we went as a group and met on the steps, and we all agreed that this fund should be set up, and we asked Mr. Bravo to set it up. He was given our account number at the Chase Bank to open that GoFundMe up.
GoFundMe page.
Yes.
And what specifically does that, if you can read into the court's records, what did that definition say that the GoFundMe was set up for? What specifically?
Legal fund to save the historical African American site.
And as a group of 19, what was the name of the group?
Save Venice.
And approximately what date, what month or year did Mr. Bravo arrive with the introduction of Pam Anderson?
Our group had been in existence for 18 months.
Thank you for that. And let's see. And have you received the documents that we have in court?
No, I haven't.
Did you receive the notice that he attained a lawyer?
No,
Did you receive the briefing that we all received 2 days ago?
no.
Are those the grounds? What are the grounds that you wanted to have a continuance?
We needed a lawyer to go through the evidence that was just
Thank you,
handed
ma'am.
to us.
Thank you. Let's get to the next point.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like you to be able to, I'd like to hear evidence
Okay.
that proves your case,
Okay.
not evidence about the
Right.
judge made a mistake 15 minutes ago and should have granted a continuance. That's not going to be
Right.
productive.
No, that we.
It doesn't matter why you're asking for a continuance.
I'm not.
I
I'm not
denied,
legalese.
no, but I'd like to hear the basis of your lawsuit.
Okay.
Not arguing with the judge about whether he made the right decision about granting a continuance.
That wasn't my intention.
Well, let's get to the evidence.
Okay. The evidence is that we do have.
Let's ask a question, and
Oh,
evidence
okay.
comes from here.
Dismiss the witness. Thank you.
You put her on just so she could tell me why she asked for a continuance?
No, the specifics on the GoFundMe, sir.
Thank you for your testimony.
Specifics as to
Do you have
what-
any witnesses you'd like me to hear from?
I'd like to hear from Ingrid in regards to the writ.
What's that one's name? Celia.
Ms. Mueller, you're under oath. May I begin your questioning?
Thank you.
State your name, please.
Ingrid Muller, INGRID, excuse me, M as in Martha, UELLER, a 35-year resident
Thank you, ma'am.
tenant
Thank you.
of Venice.
Thank you.
And can you share with the court what documents you submitted as evidence for the writ?
What writ are we talking about?
We just handed it to you, sir.
I've got a lot of documents.
I know. It would be evidence C. It's
Where would I find evidence C? Are they marked by a?
No, unfortunately, we're trying to get a lawyer. So. Here, I can give you another copy.
Oh, C.
That would be evidence C.
If I just may, is this the one 4-2 or 325 Kyle?
Merci.
We just handed it to you about an hour ago.
This is what it's called, notice of errata, notice of ruling?
Yes.
Regarding 18 ST CP 02910?
Yes.
All right, I've got 2 copies of that. I'll hand one back to you now.
Thank you. Ingrid, what is this document that we submitted as evidence?
I would like Your Honor to take a look at page 2 of the, what is it called? Of the case that is City of LA versus the owner of the First Black Baptist Church.
I'm going to object to this document, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
Hearsay.
It appears to be a tentative decision by Judge Mary Strobel regarding case 18 ST CP 02910.
Yes, well, I'd like the court to take judicial notice of that case, but this is not a certified copy. It's not a conformed copy.
Well, I can look it up right here and see if it's the same. Should I do that, or should we? Am I going to find it's the same? I can take judicial notice by entering it in my computer.
If the court's taking judicial notice of the case,
then is this an accurate copy?
I don't know.
But you're asking me to take judicial notice of it.
Of the case?
No, of the document. It would be, if I take judicial notice of the case and I find this document, I take judicial notice of the document.
Correct, yes.
Do you have any reason to believe this isn't an accurate copy?
It's not conformed, which I found.
Well, I'm going to consider it and assess whatever weight I deem it appropriate. But I find it admissible right now for purpose of this discussion. You can renew your objection if later on you find it to be something I shouldn't consider. You may ask your next question.
The writ is important to our case.
Why?
Why?
Why is it important?
Yes.
Please look at page 2 under procedural history. States that petitioner Beth Allen, she was one of our group members, and Say Venice, filed a petition for writ of mandate. And on March 27, 2019, the court approved the party's stipulation to substitute petitioner Miguel Bravo in place of petitioner Beth Allen for all purposes. His claim that he is the one that led our group legally and personally through this court proceeding, which was extremely important for the group, trying to preserve the structure at that time, owned by a billionaire that was very unwelcome in the community of Oakwood. And this was in 2018, so 5 years later, the church is now in the safe hands of a nonprofit development nonprofit corporation, and that billionaire owner sold it. So we are fine. I just wanted to show you that Mr. Bravo claims to be the leader in this group. And just because he opened a GoFundMe page that every teenager can do.
I'm going to object. Facts, not in evidence. There's no evidence that Mr. Bravo claims to be the leader of anything.
Thank you. That objection is...
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
No. Interrupting the judge is a bad idea. Objection is overruled. I'd like to hear some evidence about misappropriation. This evidence is not helping me at all. What
Right.
Mr. Bravo did 5 years ago is not helping me understand whether or not he embezzled money. Do you have any other questions of this witness?
No, I don't.
Thank you for your testimony, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there any testimony you'd like to offer about misappropriation of money?
Yes, we'd like to call Ed Ferrer.
All right.
My name is Edward Ferrer.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrer. You may question the witness.
Can you please let us know what happened during our Zoom meeting that we submitted to court on a flash drive with the transcript, sir?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained. Can you give me some facts rather than...
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead and tell us what happened at our Zoom meeting.
No, I just sustained the objection. Don't tell me what happened to the
I'm
Zoom
sorry.
meeting. Tell me about misappropriation. Is anybody going to
Yes.
testify that money was misappropriated?
Can you please share with the court what Mike Bravo did with
Okay, I was present when we asked Mr. Bravo actually came up with the idea of starting a GoFundMe page, talked to Laddie.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought Ms.
Okay, I'll
Williams-
start just from the GoFundMe.
Stop.
Okay.
Ms. Williams, I thought you told me that it was set up by you and some other members, not Mr. Bravo. Was Mr. Bravo involved with setting up the GoFundMe page?
Yes, I did say that he helped us set up the GoFundMe page.
He was one of the people that set up the GoFundMe page.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
We agreed that he would set up the GoFundMe page, and he set it up to go directly to his account, not to the account.
Wait.
Not to the
Wait,
account
wait.
that Laddie.
Wait,
Okay.
ma'am, I can't have you testifying or talking. No, the woman behind you. Miss Anderson? Is it Anderson?
Yes.
I can't have you talking. You're a witness, right? So please stand up and have a seat in the courtroom. I don't want to leave you with the impression that we're not in a courtroom. We're still in a courtroom, and we don't interrupt each other, and we don't talk unless we're on the witness stand or we have something to be recognized to say. Go ahead, sir. Next question.
So,
No, this works by question and answer. Do you have a question for the witness?
So can you please explain for the judge what we did in our Zoom meeting with Mr. Bravo and what he said he spent?
so the Zoom meeting we're talking about.
Compound question.
Overruled. Any other objections?
Yes, I'm not sure I understood the question.
Question was at the meeting, what did Mr. Bravo say?
Okay, and
Do you have an objection?
let's,
I'm sorry,
Naomi,
sorry, ma'am. Do you have an objection?
yes,
I
like
heard
a
you say
foundation, date of the, what's the
What's the
time, date,
objection?
location?
Objection.
Lack of
Hearsay.
foundation.
Overruled. You may
Okay.
answer.
So Naomi and Laddie set up a Zoom meeting
The question is, what did
ask
Mr. Bravo say?
To ask Mr. Bravo what happened to the money. And I was at the meeting. I did not say anything at the meeting.
What did Mr. Bravo say?
Mr. Bravo tried to explain what he admitted that he spent the money, and he wanted us to say it was okay how he spent the money.
What did he say about what he spent the money on?
Actually, I don't remember the details. I think there's a transcript floating around.
Yes.
I need a witness, I'll need a witness to testify to what was said at the meeting. If you don't know, thank you for your testimony, sir. Can you testify to what was said at the meeting?
I can tell you my reaction to what he was saying. I don't remember the exact details because I was basically an alcoholism counselor at one time, and I told everybody who would listen, it's clear that he was in the grips of an alibi system.
Mr. Ferrer? Is it Ferrer?
That is my
Is that how you pronounce your name, Ferrer?
Ferrer.
Mr. Ferrer, are you here to testify to what Mr. Bravo said at the meeting, what he did with the money?
We asked him to give us an accounting, which he promised to do. He also promised to do a payment plan. That's what he did at that meeting. We then took almost a year to actually, go to the police, and then there was people did not want to take him to the police. People actually did not want to go to small claims court. It was only after the DA both the city DA and the county DA refused to take it as a criminal case, that we have ended up here. I mean, I think the last judge of small claims.
Don't tell me what the last judge of small claims did. Next, do you have any questions for this witness? Do we have a witness that can testify that what
Yes,
Mr. Seth?
Yes.
Are we ready to call that witness?
You can read the transcript.
But we need to, he's asking for somebody else.
Sure.
So thank you.
Thank you for testimony, sir. Is there any witness that can testify to what was said by Mr. Bravo at the meeting, or what Mr. Bravo did?
Miss Eileen,
Then let's call that witness, please.
Eileen B. Archibald, please.
Let's call Miss Eileen B. Archibald.
Can we submit our evidence as the transcript and the videos there's a video on in the package one? There's a flash drive with the video.
In package one, there was, I don't have the capability of seeing what's on a flash drive.
We submitted the pertinent information, sir.
Where would I find that?
It's in that package, that first package of paper.
The first one?
Yeah.
I don't find the transcript in there.
I can submit it again.
I haven't seen the transcript.
Has he seen the transcript?
We sent it to Mr. Bravo.
And from what I understand...
Stop. Did you send it to the lawyer?
Sir, we didn't know he had obtained the lawyer until 8 days prior to this.
When did you send it to Mr. Bravo?
We sent it to him 20 days ago.
All right, that'll be fine.
That is, my understanding is that's only a partial transcript.
Then you'll examine on all of it.
And under California Rule 2140, it should be a complete transcript.
Sir, the video is 2 hours long. We thought it was going to be time effective to just transcribe the pertinent
Just
parts.
a moment, 2140, is that a rule of court? Or is that a...
Rule of court, 2.1040, other electronic...
I'm sorry, slow down for me, please. You said it's first 2.140?
Right.
Just
Yes.
a moment. Just a moment. .140 says judicial council forms are governed by the rules.
We submitted a brief, and it's in this brief, 2.1040, 2.1040B. 2.1040B.
I'm in order that a transcript's not required. I'll consider the partial transcript and... Go ahead. The objection's overruled.
Okay. And just for my benefit, where is this transcript in their evidence?
Miguel Bravo has it in his possession.
I'm going to hand you my copy, sir. Now you'll have a copy.
Thank you.
I found a copy in the materials. It's not marked as a transcript. How many pages is it?
Approximately 5.
I've got 3 pages of transcript and then 2 pages of forward quotes from Mike Bravo.
Yes, that's it.
So it's not 5 pages of a transcript. Is anyone going to testify to the issues of embezzlement or misappropriation?
I would like for you, Eileen, to explain what you heard in Ms. Archibald in the Zoom meeting that we had with Mr. Miguel Bravo concerning the money that was misappropriated.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Thank you, Honorable Byrd and the remainder. He spent the money on a lot of personal items.
How do you know that?
He said that he went to Whole Foods. He was getting healthy, buying vitamins, new underwear, going out, getting healthy. He also said that he did get a drone. There was a TV he got, a computer screen for the room. what other list? Okay, just one moment. Uber rides to go to court, where we took him to court. Many of us drove him going all the way back to the Red. We all have participated.
Objection, facts, not evidence.
Yes, he did say he used that money for
Objection
Uber
overruled.
rides. Uber rides. Photocopying, when that was how I discovered, because I asked for some funds back for photocopying about $91 of things.
And what was his response when you asked him for that?
There was no money left.
How much was in the account?
$9,631, I believe.
How much is in the account now?
Zero. It never went to the correct bank account. I offered to, well, that's not an answer to the question. Okay.
Any other questions for this witness?
Yes, and what did Mike Bravo, what did he say? And what did you hear him say during the Zoom meeting? What did he testify to? What was the plan?
The plan was to, he was going to meet up with myself and Ed Ferrer. I asked him to get the account downloaded into Excel, and if he needed help, I would be helping him do that.
Did he acknowledge that he misappropriated the money?
He did in the meeting, yes.
Just a moment. Mr. Ferrer, I can't have you commenting and testifying from where you're sitting. It's coaching the witness. I don't want to exclude you, but the next time you do that, I'm going to exclude you from the courtroom. I'm going to exclude anybody who tries to influence the testimony of a witness. I understand that you're all very involved in this issue. I applaud your community activism. That's not what this case is about. This case is about an allegation of misappropriation. So I'm looking forward to you getting to the point. We've been on the record now 25 minutes, and I haven't heard anything that helps me understand how this theft or misappropriation occurred. All I've heard so far is that there was a GoFundMe page that was established with the defendant being a party that helped establish it, that there's no money in it now, and that the defendant said that he went to Whole Foods, he bought vitamins, he took Uber rides, he was getting healthy, he bought a drone, a TV monitor, an Uber, photocopying, and new underwear. That's the state of the evidence right now.
I'm not finished.
I'm just letting you know what the state of the evidence is.
Yes.
And right now, we are far from proving the plaintiff's case. Go ahead, ma'am.
Please prove our case.
No, that's not a question.
Okay, the question.
The question.
What did Mike Bravo commit to during this 2-hour Zoom?
The misappropriation of funds happened because he didn't put the money in the correct bank account. He agreed to detail what he spent personally, what he spent for the group and the focus of the funds. He agreed to separate that out and set up a payment plan to the community.
Ms. Archibald, he said this during
meeting.
the recording meeting on
Yes.
Zoom, which is on the flash, sir.
Yes,
Continue.
I can't listen to the flash. I think I mentioned that.
right, he said that. Yeah.
Did he admit that he embezzled or misappropriated the money?
He admitted he misappropriated funds
What did he actually say?
by
What did he
buying,
actually say?
that he bought personal items and the money was mixed up between his personal items and the what should have been there. Only he didn't tell anyone about that.
I didn't ask you what he didn't tell. I'm asking
Okay.
you what he said.
I'm sorry, but you need to know I have a bulbous ear in addition to so I can't hear. I couldn't hear anybody over there. So if you could speak up, I would appreciate it.
What did he say? What were the words he used?
That he spent the money.
He said the words, I spent
Yes.
the money. Thank you. Any other questions?
No, I think that's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses for the plaintiff?
I'd like to testify, sir.
Go ahead.
Can I testify from here?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask me.
You can just testify, and I'll hear from you, ma'am. It's clear that's the only way we're going to get through this.
Yes. Lydia Ponce, please explain.
She can question herself. Go ahead.
Okay. My brief statement, Lydia Ponce, is that during the 2-hour meeting, it was explained the expenses that Mike Bravo had, which was all personal, and we submitted the evidence to the description of the GoFundMe because when we looked at the GoFundMe, it was never requested for us to pay Mike Bravo. As a matter of fact, we in our community organization, St. Venice, helped Mr. Bravo with personal repairs for his plumbing, for his roof, and gave additional funds, and other people can testify
Objection,
to that.
not relevant.
Overruled.
And with regards to the funding, he did make several promises during the meeting to Eileen and Ed Fair to offer receipts, copied receipts, and an itemized list of everything that he spent the money on and how he arrived at zero. We also wanted to establish ourselves as a legal entity regarding, say, Venice. Eileen Archibald and Laddie Celia Williams and Naomi.
Eileen B. Archibald?
B. Archibald. Thank you for that. And Naomi Nightingale all were working on an application for our legal 501c3. And when we asked for the funds in addition to that, it compounded the hurt with the group as community, as we all loved Mike Bravo and we were all in together in community in these different fights. It wasn't just a church, sir. It was racial, social injustices. We had huge rallies attended. We organized these events. We had a lot of logistics. We had press releases. We had sound and audio, everything that goes together to having a safe, organized community event. A lot of people donated money to that GoFundMe. We had one elder in our community who donated $5 because that was all she could afford. And we trusted and believed Mr. Mike Bravo to pay the money back about 2 weeks after these promises were made, sir. He blocked us with our phone numbers. He blocked our emails. He would not communicate. He didn't fulfill his promises that he made to all of us, as we all have prayed together Sundays, months of Sundays in 2.5 years. As an Indigenous person, I personally asked the elders of our group if we could put together a community Indigenous organized accountability to his comfort, bring the elders that he needed to support his truth so we can help him make the restitution. He denied both attempts. We tried to do it the west side, we tried to do it the east side. I promise you, I know under oath, this is all my truth in my heart, and I continue to weep about this because it puts a huge divide in our community, and we're only 3 miles. We're only 3 miles wide, sir. We have been gentrified. There have been gang wars. There have been so many things to come together and to stand up about. And Mike Bravo breached our trust, spent the money, blocked us, took our intellectual property, didn't give us the passwords to our website, didn't give the passwords to our social media, and went ahead and just ignored us and denied us, and we stopped communicating. And that was the most hurtful part, because it took us a year, as Mr. Ed Ferrer testified, because we were hoping and believing that he would come to his senses, because we are neighbors.
Your Honor, I reject this as argument, not fact.
It's also a narrative. Objection is sustained.
It's a fact because we all shared
Ma'am,
sorry.
Rather than telling me how hurt you are,
I know. Okay.
and I don't mean to trivialize or diminish the impact on anyone from anyone's conduct, but I'm interested to hear evidence that supports the claim. Your hurt and feelings of betrayal, I understand, but they're not relevant to what you're alleging here.
Right.
So that's taking up time. You've got
Okay.
25 more minutes, and taking up time with that sort of testimony
Yeah, it's
is
not
not
gonna help.
helping your case.
May I grab my list, please?
Certainly.
Thank you.
I wrote notes.
I don't understand how all of the plaintiffs can sue for this money, and that if you win, how I can order you to receive the money because it's not your money. So I'm struggling, thank you, Ms. Anderson, I'm struggling with, if you win, if you prove that Mr. Bravo misappropriated the money, confessed to misappropriating it, and pledged to pay it back, even if that was the testimony, how I can order all of you, the five plaintiffs, how I order you to get the money. Why he's paying you. It's not your money. It's the money of pledged for the benefit. Ms. Anderson, please put down your hand. I'm sorry? I'm struggling with, it's not your money. It's money that was pledged for a community purpose or a benevolent purpose. So if anything, it's held in trust by somebody. What was the name of the account at Washington Mutual where this money was deposited?
VCPUC, Venice Community Preservation of the Coalition of the Community.
Is that a DBA or a corporation or a legal entity or a beneficial? Is that a legally recognized entity?
It was our community group.
Your Honor, they've lost all effect. The money was not deposited in their account.
Where was the money deposited?
It was his GoFundMe for him to execute this lawsuit as the plaintiff. The lawsuit they brought to your attention. It was his GoFundMe. He was the plaintiff. He needed to pay for Ubers to get to court, photocopying. He took off from work. It was his GoFundMe. They won it. Okay, they won it. It was his GoFundMe. He was the successful plaintiff.
So if he wanted to buy vitamins and new underwear, he could do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he can.
Because it's his money.
It's not his money. It's money to enable him to be the
It was
plaintiff.
his money.
It's not his money.
Whose money is it?
Well, it is his money. People gave it to
I
him.
don't understand when you say the same thing twice. I don't understand that. It's called talking out of both sides of your mouth. Is it his money or not?
The GoFundMe says nothing about these people. It's his GoFundMe, okay? For him to execute... Are you saying they used his GoFundMe account? No. I'm saying he did his own GoFundMe account that has nothing to do with them.
Did he establish that before they came into the picture?
Well, they've known each other a long time. He did that independently.
Did you understand my question? Apparently not.
Okay.
Did the GoFundMe account exist before this group of plaintiffs wanted to raise money by GoFundMe for this purpose?
I believe so. I believe he did it independently shortly after.
So they were piggybacking on his initial idea?
Yes. This is him. He's the plaintiff in a lawsuit. None of these people are plaintiff in a lawsuit. When they just showed you a document where he's being substituted.
Forget the document. I want to hear facts.
He became plaintiff. Okay. He makes nominal income. Okay. He's a website guy. He does social media projects for people. He'll do a website for someone. He makes not a lot of income. And
does he know that you can't raise money on GoFundMe and use it to buy yourself underwear? Does he know that?
You can use, if you're forfeiting your income, okay, to do a lawsuit, you can use the GoFundMe money to enable you to survive so you can do the lawsuit.
That is not the law.
I
appreciate your to survive, as if to survive means you can use it to buy a car, to buy underwear, to buy vitamins, to buy a new shirt, to buy a tuxedo, to go to a fundraiser. Apparently, your idea of what he can use the GoFundMe account for is unlimited.
No. He used it so he could do this lawsuit. Okay?
Did he buy new underwear with the money?
You cannot say.
I'll ask him under oath in a moment.
He has his own money.
I'll ask him under oath in a moment. Do you know the answer to the question?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Mr. Bravo, you're under oath.
Yes.
Did you use the money to buy underwear?
Yes, I use it to buy clothes.
To buy underwear?
Important underwear, suits, shoes, because I don't have any.
Buy underwear.
As well, yeah.
Okay. Did you use it for Starbucks?
Yes, as well, yeah.
Okay.
During the meetings.
I'd like to get back to the case, Mr. Payne.
Sure.
We're with the plaintiff's case. I've explained to you the issue. You now know. I'm not going to ask any more questions. I'm going to sit back and listen for the next 15 minutes. That may be hard to believe, but I'm not going to interrupt. I'm going to listen to the testimony. I'll rule on objections, and then we'll get to the defendant's case. But right now, the case is not proven. You may call any witness you'd like right now. I've told you what my issues are. I've told you what my concern is. It's up to the plaintiffs now to answer those questions. Who would like to testify?
I'd like to finish.
Go ahead, ma'am.
The case for the funding to pay Mr. Bravo is that none of the 19 original members of Save Venice actually were requesting to get
Objection,
paid.
hearsay, narrative.
It's my lived
Overrule.
My
When
lived,
there's an objection, stop talking.
okay,
please.
sorry. I apologize.
I
I'm
don't have
not,
to apologize, but when there's an objection, I can only deal with one at a
Right.
time. And we're recording this, so we should have only one person speak at a time.
I can appreciate that.
Hence my comment, don't talk over the judge. Go ahead.
So in the 2.5 years, after Mike Bravo got directions specifically from Laddie Williams about which bank account to put the funding in, several witnesses we have to that, because we were trying to get legal representation in regards to the writ and anything else that was coming, because a billionaire bought the property. And in withstanding, no one ever asked to get paid. Everybody volunteered. Everyone participated. There was not one person who did everything. And that particular testimony is in the briefing that Mr. Bravo submitted. And the fact is, sir, that Your Honor, that the money that was spent, we always trusted and knew that he had it, and the name of it says Save Venice. The actual GoFundMe doesn't say to pay Mike Bravo because he was working part-time. We were in the time of COVID. There were a lot of people who had suffered work that was diminished at during those years. I'd like to leave the remaining time to Laddie Williams to come and testify, please.
Have you concluded all of your testimony now?
I'd like to conclude by saying that we all waited in good faith for the restitution.
Does that conclude your testimony?
Yes, it does, sir.
Thank you. Are there any other witnesses who wish to testify?
You gotta do it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any other witnesses that would like to testify?
At this point, they want me to testify again.
Are you gonna do the question? Yeah. Or just go ahead and...
You don't need to be questioned. I'll just listen to the person testifying. You're appointed. I'll just hear what you have to say.
Your Honor, I'm objecting to the witness being recalled without an offer of proof.
Objection is overruled. This is a small claims case. I'm trying to determine the facts.
Understood, Your Honor.
I have that leeway.
We were a group of 19. We were
Your name
all
for the record, ma'am?
volunteers.
Your name for the record?
Oh, CELIA, Celia Williams.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Go ahead.
We were all volunteers. None of us got paid. None of us ever asked to be paid. We did not know that Mr. Bravo was using the money for his own personal expenses. And he did promise to pay us back. He made that promise in front of all of us on the Zoom call. We have it queued up if you would like to listen to him saying that he would pay the money back, if that's okay with you.
He'd pay the money back to whom?
Pay the money back to the group.
But it's not the group's money. It was in a GoFundMe account that he established.
Okay, well, then pay the money back to GoFundMe, the GoFundMe group.
But you're not GoFundMe. I can't order him to, I can't have me order him to pay GoFundMe.
So then he could just spend the money as he chose to.
Apparently you put him in charge of the money.
No, we didn't.
I thought he was in charge of the money.
No,
I thought
we never said.
I thought he established the GoFundMe account.
As a group, we asked
That's right. I made it wrong. He controlled the money because it was his GoFundMe account. That's what I heard. Is that not
It
true?
it was set up to be our GoFundMe.
Well, I understand, but the intention was, the money was collected for a different purpose, and he spent the money as he saw fit.
Correct.
But it's not your money. I'm waiting for testimony as to it being your money. It's not your money. It's not Celia Williams' money.
Well, whose money is it?
The people that donated.
Okay,
They
so
have
can we
standards.
have it ordered to be given back to the people that gave?
They would be the plaintiffs. If John Smith gave him $85 to save it for some purpose regarding a designation of a church or the historic designation, and he spent it on underwear, John Smith could sue him for that $85 because he misappropriated it he told John Smith it was for a purpose, and he used it for a different purpose. John Smith could sue for his $85. But well-intentioned community members who've pledged a great deal of time and effort and sweat and energy and tears for a community purpose don't own the money. It's not your money. That's how you set it up. You set up a GoFundMe page that apparently a nefarious character was in charge of. And he used it to buy underwear and a suit and whatever else, Uber rides and whatever else he spent it on. Maybe some appropriate expenses, maybe few appropriate expenses. But you don't have standing. It's not your money. You're like trustees of the money. But it's not your money. You've been taken advantage of, in your eyes, because you left it to a character who did something different than money than you all wanted it to be. And that's probably why the DA didn't file, and that's why the city attorney didn't file. Because you don't have standing. I understand your case. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I understand. I accept that he spent the money for expenses that were inappropriate to the design intention of raising those funds. So I will continue to listen to any witness that can connect the dots. As I've indicated, I need them to be connected. And that is that you have standing. It was your money. He misappropriated it from you. And you want him to pay you back your money. If there's anybody who can testify to that, I'm willing to listen. But if you can't, I'm very sorry to be the first one to tell you that you don't have a case unless there is that evidence. So I will sit back and allow you to present that evidence if you haven't. But telling me all of the good things you've done and your good intentions and your disappointment in how he has misappropriated this money is not proving your case. I hear and feel your angst and your anger and your disappointment and betrayal by someone who spent this money on underwear and Starbucks and anything else he spent it on to get healthy or whatever else he did with it. Apparently at one time he may have been a pure motive, but apparently not with how he spent this money. So I accept your position that he misappropriated the money, but it's not your money. And if it was your money, I'd be prepared, once I hear all the evidence, I still have an open mind, But if at the end of the case I felt that he had misappropriated your money, I would rule in that favor. So why don't you figure out what witness can present the testimony if you have that information? We have 12 more minutes.
Laddie, can you answer the question, how would he pay the money back? What would be the safe place for the money? If he came through with his promise, if he was to do what he said to all of us on the meeting, where was he intended to put the money? Belonging to the group. At the time we thought it belonged to the
Let's
group.
let her answer the question.
I'm objecting. That calls for speculation.
Overruled.
At this point, after listening to Mr. Byrd, Judge Byrd, I'm sorry, he says we need to have those people here. They should have been the plaintiffs. We don't have them.
There's a few people here that did donate. However, my question is...
And if they donate, I'm prepared to hear.
He's prepared to hear.
Okay.
So,
I'm prepared to hear, and I'd be prepared, and after I hear all the evidence,
okay.
if an individual that paid the money and it was spent in a way that was not represented would be paid, I would consider that evidence and to award that plaintiff damages for what they paid.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have anything more to testify to, ma'am?
No, because I didn't,
All right.
these two did. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Eileen. Ms. Archibald. B. Archibald.
Try to see if not share the time.
Do I wait for the question or?
No, you may testify, ma'am. Go ahead. Your name?
My name is Eileen B. Archibald.
Thank you, Ms. Eileen B. Archibald. Go
I
ahead.
donated to the fund through the GoFundMe.
How much did you pay?
I paid $50, and then I also did comments.
You paid $50, and what did you think the money was going to be spent for?
The legal fund to save the church.
Thank you.
Get it towards historical. And so there, I also wrote comments on there, which
Your damages are $50, is that right?
$50, and it might be
Anything-
more. I have to go look again, but we all donated. So
Ma'am,
yeah, the first one was $50. Yes,
how much did you donate to this fund total?
$50.
Thank you for your testimony, ma'am. Do you have any other witnesses in this regard? Mr. Ferrer.
I also donated, I don't remember, I think it's around also $50, I think.
Mr. Ferrer,
It's
did you
listed-
donate $85 and on the GoFundMe page wrote,
Okay,
Venice was built by black workers. They sacrificed to have a place.
yes,
First Baptist Church of Venice.
yes,
Did you contribute $85 29 months ago?
yes.
Did you contribute any other money, sir?
No, not to the GoFundMe.
And when you contributed the money, what did you think it was going to be used for?
We were trying
What
to
did
get
you think it
lawyers
was going to be used for?
for legal, to pay for fees, legal fees, to try to give an honor, some money to a lawyer to help us.
Thank you.
And for the copying.
Thank you. Any further witnesses who contributed money?
Ingrid, I'd like to submit...
Let's have the witness testify
Go ahead.
first.
All right.
Your name, ma'am?
Ingrid Muller again. I
Thank you.
was one of the very first, I believe, to add to the GoFundMe page for legal funding.
How much
to
did you pay?
Find a lawyer
How
and
much?
pay a lawyer.
How much did you pay towards
I
the fund?
paid $10. I'm a extremely poor Social Security income dependent resident. I also know that another group member, Margaret Malloy, in the same kind of financial
Objection here,
situation,
say.
also
Sustained.
spent $10 on.
Ma'am, I can't consider what other people spend. I only need to hear them.
All right, all right.
The objection is
But
sustained.
if everybody that got an invite to spend money on that account and sees that $10 is okay, do it, everybody. would have had the money for the 501c3, to pay a retainer for a lawyer, to, those sort of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mueller. Are there any other witnesses who wish to testify? Ms.
No,
Anderson is raising her hand. Ms. Anderson is not a plaintiff.
She's a witness.
I donated.
She's not a witness, though. I mean, she's not a party. I can't award her money.
Well, I don't want it, I just want
I have three witnesses so does the plaintiff rest now?
I just wanted to go through our evidence to submit to make sure that we
What evidence?
established that we were a group that was.
You're not a group. These are three individuals. The group doesn't own the money.
Okay. Thank you.
I understand you're a group in united purpose and benevolent work in the community for the benefit of the community. I understand that. The case is with the defense, Mr. Green.
Yes.
I'm prepared to render, at this point, I'll listen to your evidence, but to let you know where I'm at in terms of taking the barometer of the court, I have three witnesses for a total of $145.
Well, I would I move for a non-suit at this point.
I'll take that into consideration. How do you wish to proceed?
We'll rest.
You're not going to present any evidence. You choose not to.
If the court's tentative,
It's not an if. It's not a conditional question. You're resting.
Yes, we're going to rest at this.
Thank you. That concludes the introduction of evidence. The evidence so far has established three of the plaintiffs have suffered a loss, an economic loss, due to the misappropriation of the money based on a purpose not contemplated when given, and I'm prepared to render a judgment for those three plaintiffs. I recognize that many people in the room are disappointed right now. I've tried to explain from the very start what the issues are in this case. A lawyer here, I don't know if a lawyer would have helped or not, because this group of citizens who are committed to making this a better place to live for everyone, engaged in community work, and were taken advantage of by one of their own who misappropriated money for himself. I understand that's what the evidence shows. But as a matter of law, the money he misappropriated wasn't each of the five remaining plaintiffs. It was the three plaintiffs who contributed money. And therefore, judgment for plaintiff...
Your Honor, before you rule on the judgment, did the court take judicial notice of this lawsuit?
Yes.
For clarification. And is the court taking into consideration that Miguel was the plaintiff and successfully prosecuted this lawsuit and appeared in court 18 times over 2 years?
Spending this money on Starbucks and underwear is a misappropriation. Anything further, Mr. Green?
I would argue that he followed the purpose of, by prosecuting this lawsuit without a lawyer, on his own successfully, he satisfied what he wrote as his GoFundMe. And then we submit, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Sorry to have interrupted.
No, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
I want to make sure the plaintiffs have their case heard. I want to make sure you've had your case heard. Anything further, Mr. Green?
No.
Anything further from the plaintiffs?
I'd like to know how to acquire the transcripts for this particular court proceeding, since it is public record.
It's a public record, and it would be available at the clerk's office. There's a process by which you could do that there.
Thank you. When will it be available?
I think by next week.
Thank you
Today's
so
Friday
much.
afternoon.
Thank you for your patience with us, because.
Thank you.
Let me finish my order, and then I'll certainly allow each of you to ask questions. Judgment for plaintiff Eileen B. Archibald in the amount of $50 plus costs. Ms. Archibald, what are your costs in the case? How much did it cost to file this lawsuit?
I have all the receipts in there.
it's time to find them now.
That's the normal, I paid $40 for the sheriff to take them.
What were your total costs?
I paid over $99 for the photocopying to send to everybody. One moment, please.
I'm going to be asking Mr. Farrar and Ms. Mueller the same question in a moment.
I did not spend any, Eileen spent the money.
Thank you. Judgment for Edward Farrar in the amount of $85. Judgment for Ingrid Mueller, $10. Judgment for Eileen B. Archibald, $50 plus costs.
$40 for the sheriff.
And the actual filing fees.
The filing fee, I have to find it right here. Just bear with me.
Right, you went with the filing fees? $75 plus $40 is $115.
It's the normal one.
75, he said.
Copying is $90. Send to everybody.
Cost the amount of $115. Plaintiffs Celia Williams and Lydia Ponce. Thank you, ma'am. Are to take nothing. It's probably best that I not say anything more. Except I want to thank you all for being here today, and for all of you, including the plaintiffs and the defendant, for doing good in our community. And I hope that whatever harm was caused by the defendant's conduct, that it not diminish in any way the fire in each of you to continue to do good in our community. Thank you all for being here. Good luck to you. We're in recess.